And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got a really interesting one for you today, and it doesn't look good for Keir Starmer when military generals are turning their back on him. Yes, 9 4-star generals have signed a damning open letter to the Prime Minister. A lot of reaction on this as well with regard to it. An interesting one, but of course we're seeing where the military's opinion is on the Prime Minister and this Labour government. As always guys, we are going to be breaking this story down, but first please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more content just like this. If you haven't followed my Instagram already, please do. It's DanPWD. You've seen the state of this country. Now wear the message. Wankir, Stuck Farmer, Liber. Shop the full collection by going down into the link in the description or heading over to BritishDan.com. So yes, as you can see guys, Keir Starmer accused of undermining British Army in fresh human rights row. 9 4-star generals have signed a damning open letter to the Prime Minister. Keir Starmer has been accused of undermining the British Army by allowing human rights to pose a threat to national security. 9 4-star generals who signed an open letter to the Prime Minister to coincide with Armistice Day warned that soldiers' trust in the legal system has deteriorated so badly that it now risks everything. The group claimed that the collapse in trust is a direct threat to national security and suggests it has sparked an exodus from the special forces. In a letter which has been published by The Times, the 9 4-star generals said, "Today every British soldier deployed must consider not only the enemy in front of them, but the lawyer behind them. Make no mistake, our closest allies are watching uneasily, and our enemies will be rubbing their hands." The generals also claimed that the collapse in confidence is a direct consequence of lawfare, which they define as the use of legal process to fight political or ideological battles. The European Convention of Human Rights was identified as a sticking point for armed forces personnel. Soldiers have become increasingly fearful about the Strasbourg Convention paralyzing decision-making, distorting rules of engagement, and deterring initiative. The 9 signatories include 3 former chiefs of general staff, an ex-deputy NATO Supreme Allied commanders, and a former chief of the air staff. A source close to the generals told The Times this is an existential issue for the armed forces and our nation's fighting effectiveness, but the government is refusing to recognize it despite all the overwhelming evidence presented to them. The generals have decided that the time has come for them to publicly stand up and be counted in the hope their voices help. Keir and his Attorney General, Lord Hermer, have now been urged to display the European Convention of Human Rights and the UK's own Human Rights Act from troops action while on active service in the UK and globally. There is particular concern about Keir's Northern Ireland Troubles Bill, which will allow a series of new investigations to military actions in the province over 3-decade-long war against the IRA that ended in 1997. Labour's attempt to scrap Northern Ireland Troubles Legacy and Reconciliation Act in 2023 has already sparked a major backlash, with more than 200,000 signing a petition to protect soldiers who fought as a part of Operation Banner. However, the 9 4-stars now insist the problem now extends far beyond Northern Ireland, warning lawfare targets anyone in uniform on active service anywhere in the world. The Prime Minister is facing growing calls to disapply the ECHR amid concerns it has also stifled Britain's ability to deport dangerous foreign nationals and stop the Channel crossing crisis. So, guys, this is huge. 9 4-star generals, of course, coming to defend their troops. The way that this government treats troops and veterans, by the way, that have fought for this country and getting dragged into legal battles 30 years, in some cases 50 years later, is absolutely disgusting and absolutely diabolical. These orders came from the top and came from them, and as stated, as the military general said, it takes the battle effectiveness away from our army. And so, of course, this is a national threat security. People won't want to join. People won't want to make life or death decisions in the midst of battle due to them being worried what's going to happen to them. Their own country going to turn against them when they get back from home. A disgrace. And this government are so treasonous towards veterans, so treasonous towards the military. It's absolutely unbelievable. I've came out on this channel many times and spoke about the military's personal opinion on the government. And in fact, they can't really display their personal opinion on the government, well, because the the government controls the MOD, and the MOD does silence soldiers, and they could face disciplinary action and, of course, lose their jobs if they speak out against the government. Remember, again, if a soldier came out and said that they supported Tommy Robinson, they would be disciplined. But then the government used them to sort of politicize and go on pride parade marches, which makes no sense. But to bring these soldiers 30 years later into courts is absolutely disgusting, and credit to all of the generals that are standing by their guys and women that are currently serving, and actually do give them a voice, and hopefully force this stupid going back and correcting and making sure that taking our battle effectiveness away. Hopefully there's going to be massive reforms to this. But everything sort of comes down to the ECHR on the way that things are happening in this country, and certainly we do need to leave, whether it be for stopping these illegals coming into the country, also the way that our troops are making decisions on the battlefield. It all comes down to this ECHR, this foreign court that we need to get out of, and our country would be a much better place. It is, of course, Remembrance Day today, and this guy, of course, Keir Starmer, is the biggest betrayal to soldiers, and we've seen it with veterans speaking out, especially a 100-year-old World War II veteran coming out and giving his opinion on live television. But we've got a bit here with regard to this as well, and I want to add, whilst we are on Remembrance Day, and we're remembering our veterans, that there are currently 6,000 homeless veterans currently living on the streets in the United Kingdom. Yesterday, 400 illegal migrants came over the country and, of course, are getting the access to a hotel, 3 meals a day, and, of course, opportunities with potentially going up to £100 per week, a fee on top of their £49 per week that they currently get, whilst we've got 6,000 homeless veterans currently without a place to stay. This is how the government treats their troops, and, of course, bringing them through sort of courts and whatnot, and not standing by them following their active service. Let's see what Patrick Christie has had to say with regards to the treatment of British veterans.
Good evening. I think Sir Keir Starmer has some brass neck doing this. It's his government that is now prosecuting some elderly veterans. They're dragging them through the courts, ruining their lives. It's his government that is housing illegal immigrants in military barracks. It's his government that has a veterans minister with no idea how many homeless veterans there are.
Do you have an idea roughly how many veterans sleep rough on our streets each night as we approach Christmas, Minister?
So those numbers are really hard to know.
But what sort of number do you think we might be talking of here?
So I think...
But what do you think the number is, Minister?
So we know with Op Fortitude that we see referrals in the tens every week.
I don't think you know the figure, because I have asked you 3 times.
So it's really important to understand how we can collect the data.
It's 3,700, believed to be.
And, yeah.
Yeah. It is Sir Keir Starmer's government that can't rule out having former members of the IRA sitting on their legacy commission designed to get to the bottom of unexplained deaths during the Troubles.
The commission that you're referring to, the panel, is going to be made up of victims and survivors, and veterans are going to be included on there.
The question I'm asking is, should former members of the IRA be allowed to sit on that group? That is the suggestion.
So we haven't got the makeup of that panel at all, and it's about victims and it's about survivors. I'm asking you, do you think that former members of the IRA ought to be allowed to sit on that group? I absolutely think it should be for victims and for survivors.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It is his Attorney General who represented Jerry Adams, who was being sued for damages by victims of 3 IRA bomb attacks. Angela Rayner, the former deputy leader of the Labour Party, can't even be bothered to spell Remembrance Day correctly on a social media post about it. Remarkable. It was a Labour council in Upton on the Wirral who wanted to cancel a Remembrance Sunday ceremony held every year since World War I over health and safety fears.
Was going to be a disaster and has probably turned out to be the biggest parade I've seen here in 25 years. Thank you.
Yeah!
Is it any wonder that when Sir Keir Starmer laid his wreath at the cenotaph, there were murmurings of disgust and even a loud boo from within the veterans group near me at the ceremony? And by the way, just look at how the associate editor of the left-wing independent newspaper reacted to my social media post about that. Boos? Well, it was their side that lost after all. So when I asked him if he was calling veterans Nazis, he said, "Oh no, of course not. I assumed it may have come from others." But of course, it's not just Labour, is it? The new Green Party leader, Zach Polanski, wore a white poppy as well as a red one. The SNP and Plaid Cymru laid a wreath at the cenotaph that appeared to just have their own party logos on it and not actually a message to the veterans. Yesterday, one pro-Gaza Muslim MP from your party, Ayub Khan, made a big song and dance about laying wreaths. And then, though, was proceeded to be one of several people who attended an event which seemed to be geared towards the Muslim community, where another pro-Gaza Muslim MP, Iqbal Mohammed, spoke essentially about taking over the West Midlands.
These events, these activities, this unity must grow and continue and take over not just parts of Birmingham, but the whole of Birmingham, the whole of the West Midlands, the whole of the UK. Grassroots democracy in action. And we, our communities, have shown the establishment and the rest of the country that we will not be taken for granted and we will win.
I couldn't see many poppies in that audience there. When you all add that together, OK, I don't think it's any wonder that 100-year-old veteran Alec Penston said this.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Absolutely treasonous this government is. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely disgusting on the way that they treat the service personnel in all aspects. It really is. It's horrible. And again, we don't want to be seeing Keir Starmer, voice and say that he cares, because he clearly doesn't in the way that he's treating these individuals. Guys, do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more.